G'day Supercoachers and welcome back for yet another video. I apologise for the 10-day delay in posting videos as I've just relocated to Tasmania, so it's been a busy period for me at the moment. But in today's video, I'm going to draft my first team of the 2021 season. Here we go. We'll start in the back line and my first pick will be Jakey Lloyd at $656,000. Very expensive, but he's got to be in everyone's team this year, I think. He should average somewhere between 110 to 115, maybe 120 again, we'll see. Next up will be Rory Laird. He'll get prime mid-minutes yet again in this season. He was pretty dominant towards the back end of 2020, like I discussed in a few previous videos. I'm a big fan of Laird in the guts, and he can be one of the main midfielders there again this year, so I can see him averaging around 110 to 115 as well. And next up we will have Luke Mcdonald. Bit of the unknown here, but he's well priced at $512,000 because I still think he can average somewhere around 110, because last year he was just phenomenal in the back 8 to 10 games. He was Seagull number 2, we call him. He was just mopping up everything, taking the kick outs, everything you want in the back line there. So he's only 7% ownership as well, so I like the look of him. Next up we will have Denver Granger Barras, $184,000. He's probably one of the most expensive rookies, but he should play a lot of football in 2021. He played a lot of senior footy in Waffle in 2020, and it was pretty good. He's pretty handy, so he's got a lot of talent. He's good in the air, and he's a good intercept player as well, so we should see good scores from him, but probably up and down throughout the year. And then we have Lachlan Jones from Port Adelaide, $139,000. He's a little bit more pricey than your average rookie as well, but he should get some early game time. He's got a mature body. He just, whether he slots into that Port back 6 or back 6 to 8, it's an unknown, but I've heard good things that he's training pretty well this pre-season. Our sixth defender will be Will Gould. Now, we thought that he would debut last year, but he never did, so it's kind of good news because now we get him at $123,000 again this year. He did have concerns with his fitness, but he did play some senior footy in his draft year, I think, and he was pretty good off halfback. He's got a penetrating kick. He's a good intercept player as well, and he can find the pill pretty easily. So, is he best 22? I'm not sure. We'll find out though. These rookies are a bit unknown at the moment. And then we have Bailey Laurie, little pocket rocket. He's got defender forward status, which is very appealing. $117,000. So we'll chuck him in there as well. And then we have Tommy Highmore from the Saints. No Robertson. And who was the other player? Robertson. Webster's still struggling a bit with injury, and can't think of the third player down in the back 6 there that won't get up. It'll come to me, but that's alright. So we'll put Highmore in. And there's our back 6 and our 2 rookies on the bench as well. Alright, we'll head to the midfield, where we will pick Lockheed Neal as our first picked midfielder. $721,000. Obviously the most expensive player in Supercoach. Averaged close to 135 last year, and I can see him averaging somewhere around 125 to 130 again. So he's consistent, and he starts the season like a house on fire. 130s, 140s, 150s. So a really consistent player who just always finds the ball, and he's a real hard worker as well. Next up, Clayton Oliver, $656,000. 4th year in a row having Clary. He's reliable, he's a contested ball winner, wins a lot of the ball when he tackles. His ownership's jumped up to 25% this year. It's a bit higher than previous seasons, so it's good to see. I'll always pick him probably for the next 5 to 7 more years, I reckon. Our third pick will be Jackson Mccray from the Doggies. Treloar's had injuries with his calf over the past week, so he might miss a few early rounds of football. And now, I did say that Treloar was a pretty good, value pick with low ownership percentage, but due to the injuries he's started this pre-season, I can't pick him. So we'll go to Jack Mcrae. His position is always going to be in the wing or inside mid. He'll never play as a more up forward or down the back, whatever, so we can think he's probably the best doggies midfielder that we can pick, I think. And then as our fourth, we'll have Zach Merritt. I said in our previous video that he should be in more teams. He had a really dominant 2020 season where he averaged 115, and he's back after the last 10 games. He averaged close to 120. He's only in 7% of teams again, which is pretty low numbers, so that's what I like. Same with Jack Mccray as well. He's only in 12%, so that's very good. And our fifth pick will be Patrick Cripps. He is in 38% of teams. He's always high ownership, but he is underpriced. Only averaged the 97 last year. Had shoulder injuries, had troubles with form, but he's had seasons where he's averaged close to 120 twice. So we should expect him to get back up to 110 around that mark somewhere, and you'd be very happy with that as your fifth pick midfielder. So they're kind of 5 set and forgets in the midfield who I have no question that they will all be in the top 10 come season's end. Total points, not average. And our next pick will be Will Phillips. Now, I did think he was going to start early on, but North actually have a pretty stacked midfield when you think about it. They've got LDU, Simpkin, Jed Anderson, Cunnington, Dom Tyson as well. There's a few players in there, and to chuck Will Phillips in with no football in 2020 for him, it'd be pretty tough. So he might play on the half forward flank or somewhere around there, but he's pretty pricey, so we'll keep an eye on how he goes throughout the pre-season. Next up we have Finlay Mcrae. Connollywood, 126,000. He's a ball winner, just like his brother. Good on both sides of his body. He might get some early game time. He's been playing pretty well in the intra clubs as well, I've heard. So 2 Mcraes for me in my midfield this year, which is pretty cool. Corey Durden, Carlton Football Club. He's from South Australia. I like him, little pocket rocket. He's a smart ball user. He's just a smart footballer, really. He uses it well by foot and he hit the scoreboard, and he'll probably play as that crumbing forward, I think. So we'll put him in too. And for our bench, we'll have Sam Berry from Adelaide Crows. Then we'll have Luke Valente, South Australian boy who's been in the system a couple of years now. I think he was a South Australian captain in the NAB Championships in 2018. So he should be looking to get some midfield minutes this year with Chera and Sarong and Brayshaw and players like that rolling through the midfield there out west. And for our final spot, we're just going to put in Morris Rioli here. I'm not too sure if he'll play. I'm not too sure if any of these rookies will play, but I'm pretty confident that these rookies at the moment are the best that we have and the best that we can go off. So that's what we'll stick with. We'll head to the rucks now, and this is a set and forget. I won't go into too much detail. Gawn and Grundy, 2 of the best Supercoach scorers in the competition overall, not just ruck. As you can see here, Gawny 140 in a mammoth year in 2020. You can see him averaging around 130, 135 again. And Grundy, I reckon he'll improve on that 120. He was a bit down last year, but he's had a strong pre-season. He's looking fit, so don't be picking Bruce or any of these other players. Another ruckman that I would consider possibly would be Riley O'Brien, as I discussed in another previous video. 106 average last year, 5% of teams, and he's only played 40 games. So there's going to be some pretty good improvement again this season, and he's a consistent scorer as well. So I can see him maybe getting to 115. He'd be your next best bet after Gawn and Grundy. And for our ruck, we're just going to go to the lowest price here. We'll click Josh Tracy, ruck forward eligibility, captain loophole, Bob's your uncle, and then we move to the forward line and we pick Rowan Marshall. Simples. We can swap him with Tracy if we get an injury from Grundy or Gawn. So that works. And Marshall, 104 average last year, played every game, 50% of teams. Not surprised at all, so I can see him being top 3 forward this year easily. Then Josh Dunkley, forward mid. Will he play on ball? Will he play inside mid, or will he spend more time up forward or as a second ruck? Doesn't matter. Even if he plays forward, he's still going to average around 100 to 104 anyway, so that's probably the lowest he'll go. If he plays inside mid, you can see him getting to 115s as well. So he'll be top 3, I believe, forwards this season. And this is where it gets interesting now for our F3 position. F3 position, we have Jarman, can't spell, Impey, 212,000. So if you look through his previous history of Supercoach scoring, he hasn't really averaged anything over 70. He averaged a 70 when he played 2 years ago, I think. But he's line up off half back this year, and that's where he had some real impressive scores. And if he plays up forward, he's not going to score well at all. But at 212,000, I can see him averaging close to 75, possibly 80, and 11% of teams and at that price, I've just got to pick him. F4 will be Archie Perkins. I don't know if he will play round 1, but he's put on a lot of size over the pre-season and over his year off, and I think the Bombers want to be giving him some early game time, so he's a good kick of the footy. He can hit the scoreboard as well, mid-forward eligibility, which is appealing, and he'll be a big improver this year. I think he will surprise a few. 23% ownership, so most people are all over him at the moment. Our F5 position will go to Mcrae, Cockatoo, 123,000, 62% of teams. That's a lot, but he's a talented footballer, but he's always injured, so he is probably the first one that will get changed in the next week or two because he'll have an injury. There's no doubt about that. But I like his price and I like his talent and potential, and he's probably one of the best rookies available at the moment if fully fit. And our final spot will be Jamesy Rowe, the little pocket rocket from South Australia. He's kicked like 82 goals in 37 Sandford games or something like that. So he's a pressure forward who can hit the scoreboard, and that's something that Adelaide need now. So he'll slot in round 1. No question about that. And for our final 2 positions, this is just going to be rookies. I'm not too sure who's going to line up here, but it's either going to be Sam Flanders, Phoenix Spicer, Josh Honey, someone like that. So we'll go Josh Honey for now. He was a talented junior in his draft year. I really liked him. He's a classy little footballer. He can hit the scoreboard as well. We should see some pretty good improvement through him this year. And from what I've been hearing and reading and being told by a few people, that his pre-season's been pretty strong and he has been impressing on the track. So that's good to hear from Josh. And we'll just put in Isaac Chugg here, who may get some early game time, I'm hoping. He's got that defence forward eligibility as well, so we can swap in with Bailey Laurie out the back, which is always good to have players like that. And that's it for now. So that's my team. I just made a quick video here. I didn't want to, talk for too long. Just wanted to get straight into it and show you what I'm up to. The rookies will definitely change, of course, as because we're not sure who's going to debut round 1, but we'll just wait for 2 more weeks and we'll see who plays in the pre-season games, and then we'll make some more decisions there. But for now, that's how I line up. I've got 3 premiums in the back line, 5 premiums in the mid, 2 premiums in the ruck, and just the 2 premiums up forward. So that gives us a total of 5, 8, 10, 12. We usually have 12 to 13 premiums every year, and maybe 1 or 2 mid prices if I like them. I'm still considering players maybe like Jack Siebel, but not too keen. Joe Danaher, not too keen. But if we don't have enough rookies in the forward line in round 1, Danaher will probably come in and fill one of those spots. So he's next up on the list. I'm still looking at probably Jackson Haitley or Jai Simpkin, and there's a few 0% ownership players that I'll mention in my next video who I do really like the look of, and they may slide into my midfield as well. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, that's my team. That's my first draft of 2021. As always, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the team in the comments below, and I'll chat to you there. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.